What's up, Internet? Kevin here with Tech for Lunch and Dinner, bringing you our recap of today's events at Nintendo's E3 conference, which to me left me kind of confused, to be honest. It started out okay. They did this whole celebration about the 25th anniversary of Zelda, which was basically just talking about the three big Zelda games coming out, Link's Awakening for the 3DS as a download title, Ocarina of Time 3D, and then obviously Skyward Sword coming out for the Wii later this year. There wasn't a whole lot of new info other than that they're releasing a special gold Wii controller for the release of Skyward Sword. It looked cool, but nothing too huge about that. Then they moved on to talk about a bunch of their 3DS titles, focusing on 5 major titles aside from Legend of Zelda. First off, they showed off Mario Kart for the 3DS, which looked like Mario Kart. Not too much has changed. They added a few little things, such as now there's like hang glider segments, driving underwater with propellers. It looks like it's going to be fun, but not too big of a shift away from the formula that they've been using. After that, they showed off Star Fox 64 on the 3DS, which the big announcement there was for multiplayer, you can now use the camera to actually like show your face in the match, so people can see how happy you are that you're killing everyone, or if you're raging because you're just losing really bad. I'm wondering if this is going to be optional or not, because I'm not sure how many fans are going to be completely excited about this idea. Then they showed off the new Mario for 3DS, which looks like a lot of fun. Looks like a kind of sort of a standard, almost a bit like Mario 64, but with a little better graphics, and a few more segments with like top-down views. Looked really fun, enjoyable. Looking forward to trying that one out. After that, they showed off Kid Icarus, which the voice acting was kind of annoying. Sounded like almost like a bad teen drama, kind of nails on a chalkboard, but actual gameplay itself looked really fun. They also announced a multiplayer function for it for 3-on-3 battles, which just looked really addicting. Combat looks fast, really fun looking. After that, they announced one brand new title, which is Luigi's Mansion 2 for the 3DS. I'm not entirely sure how many people are super excited about this. Luigi's Mansion was a fun game, but it definitely isn't one of like the big-time trendsetters for Nintendo. So while it is worthwhile entering into the series, I'm not sure if that was the big announcement everyone was hoping for the 3DS titles at least. Then it came time for Nintendo's really big announcement, which was, of course, their new console. No longer titled Project Cafe, the official name is the Wii U. Awesome name, I know, try to contain your excitement. However, it did look actually kind of cool. The problem is that mostly what we saw was lots and lots and lots of tech demos. There was a lot of talk of what it can do, what it could do, how interesting it's going to be. Basically, the main idea so far is that the controller is a tablet with buttons and normal button inputs on the sides, control pad, sticks, buttons. And the whole idea is that you'll be able to play games on your screen, which you can then continue to play on the actual controller. Some games will involve multiple controls, such as the game being played on the screen and inventory menus being shown on the controller. It kind of reminded me almost of having like a giant DS console, where your TV is the big screen, and then the controller is the secondary screen. There was a lot of talk of what they'll be able to do with this, but not a whole lot in terms of actual games. The only thing we got for sure is that there's going to be a Lego game on it. Contain your excitement. But the biggest thing for sure is that there was actually talk of Sakurai deciding to make a new Super Smash Bros. For both not only 3DS, but also the Wii U. So that got a lot of people excited, but once again, it was basically just sort of a thrown-out announcement, no actual gameplay, nothing's known about it other than it is happening. Now, at the end of Nintendo's conference, they actually started doing what I think was the most important part. Not in terms of big surprise announcements or anything like that, but the big focus was on showing all the different third-party groups and how excited they are to actually develop for the Wii U. They actually had the head of EA come up on stage and talk about how excited he is to start developing games for it, whereas, which is pretty unprecedented because EA hasn't really worked with Nintendo at all in a very long time. Not exclusively, at least. They did have interviews with a couple different developers from major companies. They started announcing a lot of games we already know about that will actually be on the Wii U, as well as PS3 and 360. For instance, Darksiders 2, Batman Arkham City, and Ninja Gaiden 3, although it had a little extra subtitle, which I'm guessing means it's going to play a little different than the other versions thanks to the new controller. Now, what this means is mostly nothing, to be honest, right now. Everything's just showing off tech, talking about possibilities. We're not really seeing a whole lot of what it actually does yet. We're not seeing a lot of actual games being released. So at one side, it's kind of hopeful. It's kind of like, okay, this can be cool. This is a good technology. Everyone's excited about it. But until we actually see games for it, I'm holding my excitement for now, because we've heard this big speech a lot before from not only Nintendo, but a lot of other companies, and it hasn't always worked out in their favor. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not sure if it's going to end up working out the way they want until we actually get some more solid info, because all we know is basically that it's happening, no release date, no prices, only confirmed game is Lego, and there will be a Super Smash Bros. On the horizon at some point. So overall, E3 this year was a little lackluster. Microsoft more or less bombed, showing off a lot of stuff you could do with Kinect, but didn't really get a lot of people excited. Halo 4 was their big announcement, really, overall. Sony had a really good, strong finish with the Vita, but the overall conference itself was lacking a bit in terms of any other big surprises. And Nintendo, while the Wii U is, like I said, kind of cool, and we could be really excited about it once we see actual games for it, but right now it's mostly promises and what it could do, not what it's going to do for sure. So hopefully this means that next year's E3 will be a lot more exciting. We'll get a lot more actual final announcements about what the Wii U is going to be like. Maybe next year Sony and Microsoft will also have new consoles to show off, or at least announce and talk about. So I'm actually almost really hopeful for next year now, because there was a lot of build-up this time without as much surprise or show-off. So we'll see how next year goes. Till then, I'm Kevin for TLD. Thanks for watching.